Hello, I'm here. I'm here to cook, baby. And that's what I'm going to do tonight. It's pizza night. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, you made a pizza from scratch. You know I didn't do that. Come on now. Don't be silly. This can't be your first time here. But just in case it is your first time here, I used to do stuff like that. You know, back in the day, circa like pandemic time, I was all about that. I had that little flower on my face. But now I don't do that. Not in 2025. Now I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. I am not trying to impress anybody except for myself. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm pretty impressed by this ready to go pizza and breadstick combo that I'm going to make. Now listen, breadsticks have come a long way. Let's start with the breadsticks. They have come a long way, thank goodness. The store-bought ones used to taste like, like bricks. They were kind of like really hard. They weren't flavored. It was just like, it was a bad situation, right? And if you're of a certain age, you remember your parents doing that garlic bread in the Midwest. Your parents doing the garlic bread where they just basically took like a piece of white bread and they threw a little bit of like butter on it, a little bit of like some garlic, maybe some dried basil if you were fancy. And that's what it was, right? You put that in there and then you took it out and that's what it was. Okay, fine. Well, I'm a little bit more sophisticated than that. And just to let you know, you can basically go to the stores now. The breadsticks that they sell, the frozen ones, are actually pretty good. Maybe you need to put like a little bit more basil on them, maybe a little bit more oil, but they're pretty red. They're like red to go. Like they're actually really good. They've come a long way. But let's say you don't want to go to the store. Let's say you just want something really simple and you kind of like your pantry cooking, right? Because I'm all about that, cooking from the shelf, cooking from the fridge. So I have these like kind of like Asiago ciabatta buns. And you're thinking to yourself, are those going to be your breadsticks? Why, yes, they are. And the reason why I can make them my breadsticks. Now, I can do them a couple different ways. I can put these, I can oil them up, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do all this stuff. I can, put them in the oven and do it that way, but I'm not going to do that, actually. I'm actually going to use my fancy panini maker. And so I always debate, I'm like, should I go ahead and cut them first, or should I, wait and, just put them on the grill? So the best way to do it, I have found, is to go ahead and put them on the grill whole. And here's what I do. I don't season them too much, only because a lot of it's going to end up on the plates on this grill. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of oil on here. I'll do a little bit of oil. Now listen, if I were going to the oven route, then I would absolutely go ahead and season those. I'm trying to see the best way to do this. You know what? I think I just do like a little pour. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and remember, because people are on me about I got to measure stuff. I just can't. I got to show people what I'm doing. This is a half a tablespoon. You don't really need a lot for this. Just a little bit. I'm just going to show the grill a little bit of love here. And I'm not sure. Let me see if you can. It's like always the fight, right? It's like I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. Here we go. Get this water bottle out of the way because I will need it because it's going to get hot in here. Okay, it is. Trying to see who that is. What's up, Miss Patty? I hope you're doing well. Okay, so what I've got this on here. I'm going to go. That's chives. Usually I'm sort of ready, but tonight I'm kind of not, but that's okay. I've got a little bit of Italian seasoning. I don't want to do too much because sometimes it's really easy to kind of get in here and over season. You don't need to do that. A little bit of dried basil, just a little bit. And then I'm going to take these here, right here, and I'm going to kind of put these down, face down. To me is the best way to do it. We're going to do that. We're going to kind of let it sit there. I'm pressing on this because I want it to be kind of like a certain volume there. And so that's what we're doing. I will not need these for a little bit. So the good thing about this is now somebody asked me about what I use for red sauce. I prefer pizza sauce because it's got a natural thickness that marinara, like the regular standard marinara, doesn't have. To me, the marinara is kind of watery when you do the straight marinara from the jars, right? If you get the really, the cheaper marinara, it kind of has that wateriness. Now listen, if all you have is $1.75 for the cheap marinara to do some red sauce, you can do that. What I would do is I would take some of my Italian seasonings and my basil, and then my best friend, this powdered dried Parmesan. I would do that and I would start doctoring it up, and so it would be more about the flavor, and then the texture would be incidental. So when sometimes you can't, almost done. sometimes you got to work with what you got. Okay, so if you don't have pizza sauce money, then you can do it with like a regular kind of a marinara, one of the cheaper marinaras. You can do that. You just have to really focus on that flavor. Also, if you've got some like spare veggies to put in there, you can also, take some sauteed veggies. And again, this is all about a fridge clean out. I'm not expecting you to go out and then buy, more things because you're trying to save money, right? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take this off. It's looking pretty good. I got like a nice little, right there, nice little thing right there. And as I always say, this is gonna be hot, 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 so I'm trying to not get too close to that. You can still kind of see. Move you kind of closer to this thing right here, get this out of the way. I'm always moving in here, and I feel like I'll do my setup, and I'm like, yeah, I nailed that setup, and then something will happen. Something will happen, and I'll be like, I did not nail that setup right. I had to move this, and, just didn't realize it. So we're going to move this out of the way. I'm going on this one first. So, you see me right here. What am I going to do? So, because it's kind of more of like a table for one situation tonight, I'm not entertaining anybody tonight. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of do maybe like, see here. I think I could do like maybe eight. That's kind of a big one. Maybe make that a little bit smaller. I'm just kind of cutting because, again, I used a grill pan. I'm just kind of cutting along kind of the grill lines. Now, this is not going to be like your traditional breadstick. I could go and make it like a little, if I put it in there longer, it'll be crunchier, but I kind of don't want that crunch. I'm kind of okay with having like, it be a softer situation. Now, because this is an Asiago bun, ciabatta bun, that I got at Aldi's because I'm going to be using that for some other things. They're great for sandwiches. I've actually in the past done like little mini, like bruschetta things with these. I've done like little mini, like, pizzas. They're really good on charcuterie boards as well. Cut them into like fourths and you have like a whole new thing. And again, you're seeing me sweat because the heat, it's like I'm barely standing the heat. I better get out of this kitchen. Okay. I think I'm doing a little too much tonight. Okay, here we go. Now we've got these breadsticks right here. You can see them right here. So these are like I guess I could call them bun sticks. I don't know, that feels like so weird to say that. But again, you can make breadsticks out of just about anything. It really has to do with the seasoning, giving it like a little bit of crunch. It's not gonna be perfect, but a little bit of crunch never hurts. And I have one of these small ramekins. And let me see here. What I can do is like shield the camera here. Something this size, perfect for putting the red sauce in there. So I'm going to go ahead and move these to the gray plate of truth. And okay, see here. I know if you watched my show on Friday, because I preempted it from last Tuesday. If you watched it, I had an incident with my cucumbers. And it's because I used a big cucumber. I tried to do a big cucumber boat, which usually works, but I think I was kind of tired, but also the ingredients I was using, they're really meant for the mini cucumbers, which I already have those prepped, and they'll be coming up after I do this pizza and put the pizza in the oven. Okay, so this right here, you're like, what is that? That's our pizza? It is. It's going to be our individual pizza. Now, I like to use flatbreads and I like to use pita breads for individual pizzas just because it's easy. First of all, it's really easy to do. Second of all, sometimes I don't want to eat like a whole pizza. Sometimes I just want kind of like more of an individual situation. So I'm looking for my smaller brush. Now I can use a bigger brush, but because this is like a smaller pizza, I prefer to use a smaller brush. So let's just get this. And then of course, I forgot to do this, but let's see here. I'm going to try to see if I've got any more units of measurement to use. Okay, this is just not letting me be great. This is a half a teaspoon. So just again, we don't need a lot of oil on this because this is just this is a smaller kind of pizza. So we're going to put that on here just like that. Boom. Okay. And that just fell on the floor. That's okay. Okay, we just got to keep moving. Okay, so we're going to take that. And here I am kind of moving this around. And I don't like I like the hint of sauce. I don't like a ton of sauce. I just want like a note of sauce. Like I want the taste and like a little bit of the texture, but I don't like sauce going everywhere. That's not my thing. So I'll use the rest of that sauce to dip for the breadsticks. And I've got this Italian seasoning that I'm gonna lay down here. Just to, you know, again, I like a note. I want it to be covered, but I don't like to just, you know, drown something in seasonings. I really don't. It's very rare that I do that, just because I feel like it takes away the essence. Now, some people though, some of their food, if I get their food, I'm drowning in seasonings because, you know, that's the only way I can eat it. Now, what I'm doing right now is I've got this fresh basil from my kitchen garden. Every time I say that, I do feel like the barefoot Contessa. It's like, but you know what? If you don't have it, what does she say? Store-bought is fine. Although I will tell you, when it comes to the store-bought fresh basil, a lot of times when I go in there, and it doesn't matter the store. It's not even a thing. It does not matter what store it is. It's like, it always looks a little, I don't know, freeze-dried. It's like going bad. So if you can do it, and I know it's usually running about $2. If you can spend a few more dollars, you can get like a basil plant for like maybe $5-6. Again, if you can do it, I know times are very different. So here we go next. Now, when it comes to toppings, I'll be honest with you, I use whatever I have on hand. Now, I generally always do have some pepperoni on hand, just because, you know, if I want to throw together a quick kind of like patio situation, although the patio weather has not been kind to me because it's either been too hot or raining, but I'm hoping I'm going to get on my patio because I've got some patio menu ideas that I want to kind of use that go beyond the standard charcuterie board. Now I'm kind of loading this up with fresh mushrooms here. And then I don't have a lot of pepperoni this time. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this pepperoni down. And again, I'm not laying it. I don't have a preference for, you know, how I lay this down. I kind of put this on. I try to get things to go kind of close to the edge. Like I don't like it when it's like there's all this crust thing and like hardly any toppings. Like that's not my favorite. And then, okay, so I've got the basil on there. I've got the mushrooms. Now my secret ingredients are shallots. And why shallots? Because they were on sale. And listen, these shallots, when you're cutting a shallot, you got to be careful. Even though they're not as big as a standard onion, they can get really like spicy. Like it can be flying in your eyes and stuff. It can get really spicy. So just keep that in mind. I try to kind of keep lemon juice on hand to kind of neutralize it a little bit more. Also, shallots are great if you want to do a simple salad because it's going to add so much flavor. Shallots and then red onions are also good for that kind of like, oh, I don't really have a lot of ingredients. I've got like mushrooms, a little bit of cheese, throw in some shallots. And to me, that's like, you know, that's so much flavor that's bursting out. It's kind of like having 2 and 3 additional ingredients, but just with the shallots, or even if you can do that with red onions. Okay, now what am I doing next? Where did my cheese go? I had cheese and it's like, oh, here it is. Okay. So I was running a little late and I was sitting there and I had everything out and I was like, oh wait, I still have to change. And so, hang on, I just want to get this in here. I like to put my hands in, kind of get this. Usually I have this pre-measured out, but I just wasn't on the ball today. Okay. So now with cheese, I know this is a personal preference. If I had a lot of people to feed these individual pizzas to, and again, this is just whole wheat flatbread that I got at Hy-Vee because it was on sale. And so, you know, I like to buy stuff on sale. But I also was at the Dollar Tree the other day and I noticed that they actually do sell, they sell like big pizza crusts there now. I'm like, okay, go off, pop off. They've got all these name brands and stuff there. So let's see here. Make sure we get that. I just, again, because I've got the breadstick situation going on, I'm going to have the cucumbers. I just want like an essence of cheese, just an essence of it. Okay. Now I'm going to do something that might freak people out, but I do like to do this because this adds just a little bit of texture. So I like to kind of do that dried on top. And then I'm going to do a little bit more of this basil just because I know it sounds crazy, but I like to kind of see seasonings on top of my, just a little bit, like not a lot, but just a little bit of seasonings on top of my pizza. And I thought I preheated this oven, but I guess I didn't, but that's okay. No judgment. Okay, we're gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna move this out of the way because I've got, not my pizza stone, but I have like a pizza kind of, I call it whoa. I call it my pizza grate. I've got that going on. And what I like to do is, because this is a smaller pizza, I will go ahead and put a little aluminum foil on there just because. So it doesn't, you know, cheese doesn't fall onto, like, you know, the bottom of the oven. Okay, now generally I would have waited for a couple more minutes, but you know, I got other stuff I gotta do. We gotta keep moving on this train. So we're gonna get this out of the way. And the next thing that we're doing is we are doing these hollowed out cucumbers. And this time I'm not gonna do the wasabi. I'm gonna do more of a savory, a different kind of, like, more of a rustic savory situation. But rest assured, I'm going to be practicing on the wasabi ones, and maybe I'll do them next week. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I feel like I need to practice that though, not on camera. Okay. So I have hollowed these out. Now you see these mini cucumbers, and I feel like I love mini cucumbers. We can do so many things. We can put so many different ingredients in here. This time I've kind of opted, like I said, to kind of do more of like a rustic fall thing. And so I've got the shallots. You know, my besties are shallots. Sorry, I just want to get a smaller one of these teaspoons that I got from Amazon. Oh, sorry, just move this out of the way. Okay, so I've got this right here, and I'm going to put these in here. And what I really learned from the last time that I did this on, the time before, not this last time on Friday, is that when you use the cheese here, it's really better to use the powdered Parmesan or something like that, just because from a texture perspective, but also for if you want to take pictures of things. Like, because when I did it the first time, it looked, okay, how would I want to say this? It looked very Vacation Bible School. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I would have eaten it back in the day at Vacation Bible School, but I just didn't like the aesthetic of it. And also the texture, like the cheese was doing too much. Like this, the straight shredded mozzarella, it was just doing a little too much. Now, grating the cheese, like using one of the micro graters, maybe that might have been a better, you know, might have been better to do that. So just gonna go ahead and keep, like, is there another plate? I feel like, where are my plates at? Okay, let's go ahead and put this on a plate. Okay, we're gonna get this plate situation. It's gonna be fantastic. Okay, so I've got this plate. So far, this is what we got going on. See how it's hollowed out. So I've got mushrooms, and these are sauteed tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, shallots, and I think I seasoned it with like smoked paprika, so that's going to be really good. And I think that, you know, these are really, and I know you're going to be like, girl, no, but these can be kind of like a nice little side for you if you're like, you know what, I want some veggies, but I don't want to commit to the salad. I don't feel leafy today. Sometimes feeling leafy, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. You guys need to take a quick little drink because I'm starting to like lose my voice a little bit. There's my oven. Okay. Okay, there we go. I don't know about you if you're in the Kansas City area or the Midwest, but this weather is so crazy. Okay. Okay, here we go. Get the rest of this here. Just one moment here. Okay, I'm back. Okay, my voice started, oh wow, it's going out. That's okay, just gonna get a little bit more water. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm back. Yeah, this weather. It's like, it's all over the place. You know, I was all ready for my sweaters. And again, I'm not trying to compel winter because I already know the memes that that I'll get tagged in. I already know you're going to be like, look at you. You wanted this winter weather. It's not that I want winter weather. It's just that, you know, it'd be nice to be able to, you know, maybe some 65-degree weather. 50s would be nice a little bit. I mean, I'm not trying to commit all the way to the cold, but, you know, it would be nice. Okay, now, I don't even know. I feel like I almost have all of this. Sometimes when I do these fillings, I have way too much of the filling, but that's okay. Here we go right here. And, oh, you know what? I need to fill a little bit more of that filling. Okay, here we go. Okay, I think, and if it were a situation where I'd run out of filling, just, you know, I think it's something where it's, you just kind of have to move things around the plate, okay? You just got to go and move things around the plate. It's all good in the hood. And now I'm going to take my favorite, my very favorite accessory to these. And I always love this. I always love this for just simple. And again, I'm not trying to make it fancy. I'm just, you know, just kind of want to cover it. So now it's kind of, whew, be careful. Oh, also, when you're using this, be careful because this top is always, what is up, Miss Ticey? This top is always kind of like falling off. And I know so many of us can remember shaking a little too hard and all that powdered stuff coming out and all that. So yeah, just kind of be mindful. Looks like I have a little bit more here, but I can save this for something else. Okay. Now we are waiting, we're still waiting for the pizza. Now this pizza, depending on your oven, my oven heats up pretty quickly. Depending on your oven, it can take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, but I do try to kind of like, I'm gonna go and kind of look at it real quick. Okay, we've got some time on that. So now it's time for, dun, 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 the mocktail portion. So I was running the streets today. I actually went to get my tires done and then found out it was a whole long story, but I'm not getting my tires done until Sunday because of the wrong tires were ordered or whatever. So that's totally fine. Trying to think, let's see, I've got this, got my blueberry pomegranate, and then where did I put my other thing? Oh, here it is. Now last week I was trying to, what's up, Mama Susan? Do I deliver? Let me just get on my broom, okay? Let me just get on my broom because gas is so high. I'll be flying around on my broom. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to think the best way to do this. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go old school with this. And this is not like, you know, I had this top, my lovely friend had given me this tea thing, and like a few years ago, and I don't know what happened, like maybe like a year and a half ago, 2 years, maybe, I don't know, it was 2 years ago, I don't even know what year it is. I bumped into something and the top flew off. I was able to catch this, right? Thank you, elementary school flag football, but the top skidded away and just like crashed. And so I'm like, but it still has its uses. It still works, you guys. So what I've got is the blueberry pomegranate, and I actually have pomegranate blueberry herbal tea. So this is going to, because, you know, I like my mocktails to have a little bit of like some kind of, you know, texture to them, just a depth. I don't just like to be like, I just don't like to use, you know, oh, hey, I mixed two liquids together. It's a mocktail. Although if you do that, there's no judgment here. This is my own personal preference. So I'm going to take this, and now I've got my blueberry pomegranate. Okay, and because I know that you guys are going to want to see, what is this? Is this a cup? Woo-hoo! Sometimes I don't always pick up the cup. I like pick up the third cup, the quarter cup. Okay, hang on. Oof. See this? We're going to put a cup in here. And then we're going to pour this through this contraption here. And now listen, usually what you need to do is let this steep, but you can also do this on the fly too. So we're just going to make sure it gets all over that tea for like premium taste here. That's 1 cup. So we're going to do another cup here. Okay, letting that tea kind of come through. Okay, that's also coming through. Okay, and now I've got, this is like blueberry raspberry drink mix, just because, I don't know, I was feeling kind of like that could be kind of exciting. Let's see here. I think what I'm going to do is put just a little bit more in. I'm going to do like a 1/2 cup here. So 2.5 cups here. There we go. I'm going to pour this inside of here. So now it's going to turn blue. Because secretly I think I'm in the 1st grade. So let's see here. I know I've got yet another of my teaspoons. We're going to just get this all in here. It's going to be blue and all that stuff. But before we do all that, I have got these fresh sprigs of mint too. So we're going to have that. I should have done that in the beginning and I just kind of forgot I had them. So they're like over there looking at me going, girl, what about us? Okay, we're going to do that. And if I'm not sure whether or not that's going to like bring enough mint to the taste, I can always throw these mint leaves in, like actually inside there, so that we can do that. Okay, because when it comes to fresh mint, a little goes a long way. I know you wouldn't think so, but it actually does go a long way. So let's go ahead and get this out of here. One more. And there's so many other easy ways to do this, and but that's not me. I'm not going to choose the easy way, right? I'm always going to choose the road less traveled. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. I'm like, no, I could take the easy way, but no, I chose the road less traveled. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do when I do things a little backwards. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're just going to let that steep a little bit. Okay, I'm going to carefully let that steep. I'm going to move that over off camera. Move this out of the way. I'm like, oh wow, that's like blue. Get this out of the way. Okay. Okay, that is like bright blue. Let me get this here. Let's go ahead and wipe off this blue here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to see how this pizza is doing. Okay, we're getting close. Probably have another 5-7 minutes. So real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and wash off this cutting board off camera. Okay, we're back. What's everyone having for dinner? You guys have probably already eaten because it is a little bit later. It's like 7:05. But whatever you had, I hope that it was really, really yummy. Some of the things that I've been doing, so just to let you know, I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek. I've got a lot of people that I know, some that I don't know very well, but they have birthdays. So I'm going to sneak peek this here. This is one of my extra bags, actually, so... But still, go ahead and kind of like, so this is what, so I've got some October birthday friends. This is what I'm serving them here. I've got some little sweet treats, and what I have here are little like mini cupcakes, like not even cupcakes, they're just like a bite of spice cake with also, I have spice cake. I guess it's like a vanilla allspice spice cake kind of going on, and they're really good, and they're just like a bite. Like I'm really getting to that part of my life where I'm just like, you know what, bites. It's all about that. You can just kind of pop them in your mouth and keep going with your life. You don't even need a plate or anything like that. And I wanted to go old school with how I did this. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go old school. Brown paper bag, right? Brown paper bag. And yeah, so that's what everyone's getting tomorrow. The October birthdays are getting that. I was going back and forth. I was like, oh, you know what? I could just make these 12 cute little bundt cake mini cakes. And then I started thinking, I don't want to do that. It's going to be hot. Like already it's like kind of hot because it's not super, warm outside or anything like that. And so you run in your oven and it's fighting with your air conditioning. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm just going to hold off on that, but I can do cute little bites. And that's what I decided to do. And then I also purchased today a small, it's not quite, so I've got like these little individual ones. This is like this pan. So do I have it here? Well, I guess, I guess I will be kind of debuting it because I do have, I did take a picture. I made a bigger version in like a little mini bundt pan thing, and I did the apple sauce in there with the allspice, and then I tried it. Actually, and technically I had dessert first tonight, but what? I mean, who's gonna stop me, boo, right? Come at me, boo. Is that what they say? Okay. Anyways, so I had that and it was so good. All the spices came out, the vanilla and the allspice. And then also, what I experienced was having a little bit of that applesauce in there, and it was still, the cake was still warm. I wish, it was almost like one of those things where it's like a perfect kind of late October, November kind of coziness going on. Yes, that's what it was all about. Okay, so speaking of that's what it's all about, we're on like a time schedule here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, I feel like since it's blue, it kind of needs a mason jar. So let's go ahead and bring out this mason jar. And okay, this is what I have. And I know you're like, girl, is that Kool-Aid? No, it's pomegranate. It's kind of like pomegranate with like a note of mint in it. So I used the sparkling water pomegranate. Then I also used the tea. I did it's a very quick steep of tea. And in the future, what I would suggest someone do, if they want to use, anytime you want to use tea with something, you want to give it at least 30 minutes to an hour. But because I wanted to show you what I was doing versus just bringing it up, that's why I kind of did this quick steep. So I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of this. This is very good. And I'll tell you what makes it really good. You can still taste the hint of that pomegranate blueberry tea. You can taste the little elements of the tea that's in here. You're also getting the sparkling blueberry pomegranate, and you're also getting kind of not as much, but you also are getting a little bit of that powdered blue kind of it's not like a Kool-Aid, but like that powdered blue drink mix kind of thing. You're getting a little bit of that, and you're getting just a little, the tiniest hint of that mint. I think if I would have put a full-on sprig, that mint would come out, but I felt like I didn't want it to battle with the pomegranate. Okay, now what do we got going on? Is this ready? Okay, I think this is actually ready. So I'm gonna make some moves so that I can get this on. Okay, there we go. So that I can get this on here. Okay, this way. Okay, we got this. It's a little, hang on. Oh. Okay, here we go. I just wanted to kind of try to slide it off there, but it was not cooperating with me, and it's still trying to be caught on this. There we go. That's the only downfall of using aluminum foil. But again, I just didn't want to have that situation where I've got cheese on the bottom of my oven, because that has happened to me before. What's up, Amy? Okay, now I've got choices to make. I can cut this with a regular knife. I can use my hatchet. I think I have trying to make the, I'm going to use a pizza roller, but like I said, you could use a hatchet. Sometimes it's just me and my hatchet. Now, I did not cut this super evenly, but that's okay. That's fine, because, you know, it might be that I just want a couple of little pieces, because I've got a lot of food to eat, so I might just go ahead and just eat on these little pieces here. And also, there's no crime if you kind of cut a piece a little uneven. There's no crime in just, you know, trying to make it smaller, because you can always arrange this on a plate, and it doesn't have to necessarily be in the pizza form. You can kind of make it a little bit more artistic. Now, these are like my little, my breadsticks / bun sticks here, and then we can just place this on the plate any old way. It doesn't have to be like that. Oh, I need like a perfectly, you know, circular pizza. You can just do it any old way you want to. Okay, whew. There you go. And here you go. Now you're thinking to yourself, those breadsticks look like they need something more. Would you say that those breadsticks probably need a little red sauce? I would agree with you. So see, look how small this is. This is very small, because to me, the worst thing to do is when you have too much red sauce, then you're like trying to put it back in the thing. It's a lot. So now, as I talked to you before, and I said, you know, these pizza sauces, they've got like the nice texture, but sometimes they're not seasoned like the way I want them to be seasoned. So I have got my basil here, just a little bit. Then I have got, where did my Italian seasoning go? Where are you, Italian seasoning? Come back. Where did you go? Where did I put you? I know I can probably see you when I'm, oh, here it is. Okay. Here, like here. And then what we'll do is we'll put a little bit more of this Parmesan on. Now you're like, okay, girl, that's the top coat. Yes, but I'm gonna whip it real good here. And I'm gonna stirring it around. And if you want to, you can, I've got fresh basil. I could put fresh basil in here as well. I'm not going to do that. So yeah, this is what we got right here. Oh, also what I've been known to do too, if I'm feeling super extra, is I'll saute vegetables. Let's say I have to get the cheapest pizza sauce in there, just because I will take vegetables that I have at home, like shallots are good for this, mushrooms. I've used garlic before. Garlic's a good one. If you only you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get something, get garlic, okay? If that's the only thing you can get garlic. I've sauteed the vegetables, and then I've taken the red sauce and put it in a different container with those sauteed vegetables. I've let it kind of marinate for like maybe a couple of hours. One time I did overnight. It definitely, like, it tasted good for a couple hours, you know, with the one where I kind of marinated it for a couple hours. But when I did that overnight thing, it was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But you know what? That's not always feasible. Like, in your mind, you want to do that. I'm like, I'm going to marinate it for 2 hours. But then you might have a hard day at work. You might just be trying to barely making it in general. So you can't really do all that. That's why, you know, being able to do these things on the fly, so important. Okay, so what do we have today? We've got the breadsticks with the pizza here, the individual pizza. We have the pizza sauce here, the red sauce, which, you know, I'll take pictures. And then we have the mini cucumbers. Hello. The mini cucumbers that have all the sauteed vegetables in there. I've got the shallots and the mushrooms and the fresh tomatoes in there. And then I've topped it with, you know, like the Parmesan, like the dried Parmesan. I've topped it with that. So that's going to be like a nice little appetizer. I won't be able to eat all this food tonight, but that's cool because the way I made it, it's gonna be fine the next day. I didn't do anything where it's like, oh man, it's gonna be so soggy, you won't be able to really enjoy it. I will tell you, if something's soggy the next day, I have been known to like put it in the air fryer if I can, or just kind of like heat it up a little bit and eat it anyway, because I'm not gonna waste food. If it's still edible, I'm gonna eat it, okay? Okay. And then of course, last but not least, my blueberry pomegranate mocktail that I did on the fly. And again, I was debating this because it's technically fall, but it doesn't feel like it's fall outside. It doesn't. So, I'm just kind of going with, what's going on. And that's it. So I'm coming up with some more mocktail things. I'm really thinking about it. I've been, if you guys have any ideas or things you want to see me try to make, and I say try because if it's more than 4 ingredients, I might be like, well, you're going to get the Aunt Lainey version of it. So on that note, thanks for joining in on my weekly Tuesday live, Aunt Lainey's Kitchen live cooking. You can find me at AuntLainey'sKitchen.com. On TikTok, Aunt Lainey's Kitchen, Instagram, YouTube. I've got a podcast as well for AuntLainey'sKitchen.com. And thanks so much for the support. I will tell you, I was out there and on my personal Facebook, I was tagged. It seems like I've got some fans out there, some new listeners, some new viewers. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. And I will see you guys next week. Take care.